welcome to the Anteric channel, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to let you all in on my deepest, darkest secret. It's hard to get this. I watch K-dramas. I know. There hasn't been a greater betrayal since Judas snitched on Jesus, the little rat. But before I get burnt at the stake, publicly executed, I feel like it's my duty that I must pass on the knowledge that I've acquired. And when I say I watch K-dramas, I mean, we're not the same. I watch K-dramas. Emphasis on the watch, okay? I've left 300 plus minimum in my wake, and I enjoyed every second of it. There have been countless all-nighters pulled watching K-dramas throughout. For some reason, I have to watch the entire thing in one sitting. And now I can no longer hide who I truly am, so today I'm going to be telling you all my least favorite tropes in K-dramas. I know a lot of you are going to be like, oh, it's not that deep, it's not that serious, but I've had a bad week. Let me vent, okay? Let me vent. So we're going to be starting on something that many of you are probably thinking is really minuscule and like, what does it matter, Jack? It doesn't affect the plot whatsoever, but for some reason it enrages me and I need to let this out of my system, okay? It's the super strength that these characters, when I say characters, I mean the main characters, have. So my first example will be, for some reason, I don't know what events have occurred, but the main lead is being approached by 20 gang members who all have tattoos or in suits, have their sleeves rolled up, smoking. And these are no scrawny men, they're burly, they've probably stabbed and killed people. And the male lead, no offense to any of the actors, I'm gonna say most of the time the male leads, please don't come after me, are pretty scrawny. They're 6'3", they're tall, but they don't have much meat on their bones, you know what I'm saying? And no shame to them, apart from, a select few, Rowan has a great physique. So these Ken doll motherfuckers are getting approached by these gangsters. And by the way, it has not been addressed throughout the entire K-drama that this guy knows how to fight. And suddenly, from deep within, he beats the shit out of 20 fucking gangsters. Effortlessly. And I mean behind his fist is they're getting hit by a 4x4 truck. They go flying. Or another example of this is the girl is getting pressed by someone who's weird, maybe a jealous ex-boyfriend or something, and the ex-boyfriend out of anger tries to swing on the male lead, and the male lead somehow every time catches the punch and bends it forward and sends the guy to his knees. Which, I mean, do you know how much fucking strength you'd have to have in your hand to fucking cripple a guy with one hand movement? And everyone's watching like they see this shit every Tuesday. It's a normal occurrence. They're just not fazed by how this man has just immobilized a guy with a single hand movement. I don't know if these male leads are being trained in the mountains by an old Asian dude with white hair and a stick and is always sitting with his legs crossed and speaks in riddles. These fuckers go for a training camp or something, but I just needed to get that out of my system. Another example of this, imagine something horrible has happened either to the male lead or the female lead. This time we're going to be talking about the one that annoys me the most is when something horrible has happened to the male lead, right? And he's, drinking away his sorrows. He's gone blackout drunk at one of these outdoor bars, right? And somehow the female lead stumbles onto him and needs to take him back to his apartment. And by the way, I'm not a genius on the topography of Korea, but I feel from what I've seen, it's a pretty hilly place. It's not very flat. And the actress who plays the female lead, no offense once more, they're not very, strong-looking people there. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt, 5'8" beneath, right? And they're not particularly, Hwam people, right? No shame in them, because a lot of them are past idols, and a lot of beauty standards in Korea is to be really skinny. I see idols online getting fucking shamed for having a little belly fat, which is insane. But anyway, my point being, these girls aren't incredibly strong. And somehow she's carrying her 6'3" love interest on her back, all the way back to the apartment. And oftentimes they're living on the second floor, so she's carrying them up the stairs into the house and then putting them on bed, and then it shows the shot of them going oh, that was so tough. While she's saying this, there's not a single droplet on her face, not a single droplet of sweat. If that was me, this shirt right here, it would be dark green, forest green if I had just done that. It'd be dripping. I could wring it out and fill a bucket with my sweat. So that really, I hate that shit, okay? The next one we're going to be talking about is something that we've kind of addressed in the last one, and that is alcohol consumption. Now, I'm not a big You know, I don't know a lot about Korean culture and all that, but what I can tell, there's a lot of drinking. A lot of drinking. They always go to these like chicken shops or these bars where there's plastic chairs and they drink soju or whatever. And like the frequency at which the main leads get blackout drunk is insane. Their livers must be fucking black. The amount of times they're drinking daily, like bottles of soju. I don't know the alcohol content of soju, but I imagine it's pretty high. And these guys are drinking it every day by the bottle. I mean, they're alcoholics. I mean, there's no way to skirt around this. They're alcoholics. It's insane. Now, the next one we're going on to is the rich guy, poor girl. Now, this is getting tiring, the amount of new gen K-dramas that I'm seeing. Even the old gen K-dramas, where the main guy is like the CEO of a company and he's like, I don't know, like 24 and the CEO of a giant company. And the female lead, I don't know, is like the daughter of a chicken shop owner. And she rides a moped, always a moped. They just ride mopeds. She's working paycheck to paycheck. And it's always this format. And most of the time, the female lead will start working in the male lead's place of work, where their business that they run. And I mean, first of all, the power dynamic in that relationship is completely fucking imbalanced, right? Because one's the employer of the other. That's a completely different issue. But I mean, the amount of times we see this is just, And the one time that I watched a K-drama where it was the opposite. The female was the CEO and the guy was the poor one. Well, he wasn't really poor, but you know, not as well off. And I loved it. It was so good. It was so fresh. And that was one called Encounter. Came out in 2018. The main guy, bear my pronunciation, was Park Bo-gum. And the female lead was, I'm going to attempt to pronounce this, Song Hye-kyo. Song Hye-kyo? Song Hye-kyo. Kyo. I don't know, I'm going to put up a photo of her so you know who I'm talking about. And this was so good. Oh my god, I could make an entire video on this fucking K-drama. It was so fire. They met in like a foreign country. The main guy's a photographer. The main girl is a CEO, a business owner. And it's perfect. You need to watch that shit. 100% check that out. Next, we're going to be talking about second lead happy endings. I'm sorry, I don't care about you motherfuckers with your second lead syndrome, but for some reason you're in love with the second lead. I hate second lead. We need to start a counteractive force against these second lead sympathizers. I mean, oh my god, stuff I see online, the edits of the second lead, it's insane. Like this, the new K-drama. Okay, we're going into this. Sidetrack, we're going into this because I need to talk about this. The K-drama, Strong Girl Nam Soon, which is like a different series to the first one, if you know what I'm talking about. It's like the second one, right? Basically, I've been seeing edits on TikTok of like the second lead, which isn't really the second lead. He's the villain of the thing. I mean, he's killed people and like he was grinning ear to ear looking at his drug shipment coming in. And there's edits, people saying, oh, but she can change him. She can change him. No, she can't. He's a drug dealer. No, not even a drug dealer. He's a drug trafficker. His product is getting people addicted, then getting into gambling addictions, losing their wives, then killing themselves. I mean, not in every case. That's just the worst case scenario, okay? But he's 100% caused that sort of scenario to, you know, occur. And like the main lead's just this like great guy. Anyway, I needed to talk about that. I swear to God, if I see another edit of that guy, yeah, he's a good-looking fella. He's arguably, in my opinion, better looking than the male lead. But what does it matter? He's evil. Oh, Jesus! I need to rearrange my seating for that, man. Now, the last one we're going to be talking about. The rage which just comes from deep within whenever this happens, is the parents. Now, most of the time, this happens in C-dramas, Chinese dramas, where it's a bit more of a deal. I think it's in the culture the parents need to accept. And if the parents don't accept, like, genuinely, like, this beautiful relationship they've been fostering and building that seems like it cannot break, the second the parents say, they break up. I mean, if it was me, if my parents say, oh, we don't accept, I wouldn't give a shit. Who gives a fuck? That wouldn't affect my relationship at all. But now we're going to be talking about K-dramas. This happens, like, for some reason, always the male lead and the female lead are, like, connected in some way from their past. Where, like, the mother has had a negative experience with the family of the other partner's family, if that makes sense. Like, the female lead's mother has had a horrible experience with the male lead's family or something like that. There's been some sort of conflict in that, and the parent will be like, nah, I'm not cool with this relationship. And for some reason, this puts the entire thing at a halt. They generally like have conversations, like pretty serious conversations with one another, whether they should carry on being in a relationship with one another just because the parents don't agree. Which, oh, this show has made me cry for this relationship, and they're finally together. Like, they've gone through some of the craziest shit. Like, the main lead's been fucking stabbed by the female lead stalker, some shit like that. They've gone through everything. This relationship should be like set in stone. But the mum's like, not for me. Not for me. I don't approve. And then they're just like, okay, then we're gonna put this at a halt. We're no longer gonna be. We're no longer gonna be together. Oh my. Honestly, that shit, oh, grinds my gears. They always obviously stay together. They manage to like charm the parents or some shit, but it shouldn't even change anything at all, because they're always for the most invalid reasons. Like, oh, enough of that, because I could talk for fucking hours. We're going in circles now. So that has been my least favorite tropes in K-dramas. I have a lot more in the bank if you want to see more of that. This may be a 2-part series of my favorite tropes in K-dramas, if you would like to see that. But I'm sorry if this video was a little bit messy. There was no script. I've never done this type of video, so obviously over time I'm gonna get better at it. Hopefully I can make it more entertaining. I'll try script the next one to make it a little funnier, a little bit more enjoyable and digestible. But if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. It would mean a lot. Leave a comment. Leave a hate comment. I don't care. That's engagement. Goodbye, people. And fuck that villain in Strong Girl Namsoon. You're a little bitch. Bitch.